senior citizens and aged, because all my dream trend are different. All issues are different. Issues about President Mahama say about education. I don't pan here bonomine. About no economic. Your youth na den here yen. Nyama bebre or why a governance issue. Economically no. Ebeka so man bo no ye. But who says some of the issues no. Your governance. Send ye bu or mine no. And in the Bema and Yama Akon ya selecting Yama be any neighbor home come on. You found one after the other, and ya faba qua na ya tremu and amunim CDD, a think tag, a research, Afrobarometer data, ya de bamba who see a yen, see a yen, who say, ni say, and a consentia betchamun, research nibia ye, na ya shase, a buy no, yano say, and a bay ye. And proposal because as I say, education, you proposal be education. You have basic education at the same, early childhood education no at the same, more frano, kitten, no more education. No. How do we reform it? You show your constitution now. It's a constitution natural. About be about see review constitution no. Yes, say mukaka. A son says, yen nan were fear say yeah, dear over the years. It do me be a yen. What's now? Why do you say? Ade boy na say betumi eden sesan ye biaba ye betumi review niema ya examine ya hwe say betumi asesa niema kakra na nti ye constitution na no na guide bibia na say ya president Mahama or the declaration of assets call ye no mbim so what the covered efa ho and then send ye be ya ye FM multimedia for ye adom for no so ebe capture na send ye be ya omutie ye enim se omutie nti ye nyina be kire ya adwen edumi bi ye sha asesa na bonse nkofo nsa da ma omu nsa so nti aka na ye be po no na agro na ye de agro ne ye hu se ye nananom e wa ha mpenifo wa ha organized group teachers for no wa ha youth no so e wa ha even though ye be specialized one baby ye be the larger people of Bono nti say nti ayaba Bono ende ene dia mede atumu no nti me ne me boss wa ha Mr. Frederick Edu Jemfi or your director e wo CDD ye no obeba bedi enim na ya hyase issues no dorso nanso ye ntumi dia betumi aye ye be kwaso aye dia betumi adiscuss ende nkaye no e bia beto aso radio I betumi ato aso e wo radio nti with some of the issues that we are boboso no e constitutional review even campaign finance cost of politics you who say politics sisi ani boy dem pa so we obi na person who standing MP even as family member kra.
Morning, once again, ladies and gentlemen. And as Vera has already indicated, we've already are behind time, so I would like to move straight into the presentations. Could you please check the mic? The other one. Hello. All right, can I have the presentation? Okay, I think this is better. Okay, thank you. So these are the issues that we are going to discuss. I will take the very first 5 issues, and then my colleague Vera will take the next 5. But before I do that, I would like to also emphasize the importance for us to be able to share our views concerning these issues as we try to amplify the voices of citizens in addressing some of the issues that we are going to talk about. And so we are going to have discussions on the local government, on constitutional reform, corruption, education, state-owned enterprises, electoral reforms, cost of politics, youth development, the Galamsey issue, and also on the economy. Can we move to the next slide? So on the local government reforms, in 2021, there was the local government survey that was conducted. And these are the results. 73% of Ghanaians are not satisfied with how the local assemblies handle development challenges. I'm sure if you work at the assembly level, you would agree, or if you interface with the various assemblies, you would appreciate this very concern. We also had 76% and 71% prefer the next. I think, can we move to the very last page, because the next 2 slides basically reinforces the survey. Then the next as well. The elections to be done on a non-partisan level. We had 20% that wanted, a partisan election just to look at. So the new government made some commitments to the people of Ghana concerning local government reforms. And they had indicated these 5 things that we are interested in. One is to provide allowances. Do we amalgamate the district boundaries for greater efficiency? And here we mean to consolidate the various district boundaries for greater efficiency and effectiveness, particularly in cities like support the other districts. Is that an approach we prefer? Do we adopt a proportional representation model that reserves seats for women, youth, people with disabilities, and other marginalized groups in the district assembly? We have already passed the affirmative action law that's requiring 30%. And we all know the importance of what? Moving our women into politics and getting them to be what? Properly represented in the governance architecture. So are we going to adopt a proportional representation such that we will have all these groups that hitherto are less represented to be able to what? Get representation and have a voice in the governance architecture of the country. So these are the 3 main areas that we'll be having the discussion on. Because of time, I would want to finish other issues, then we can have the discussion, or preferably we can take a break here and then we can move into the discussion. We want to hear from you what your opinions are on the local government front in terms of reforms. Should we have the discussion now, or let me go through all the issues? Which is the preferred approach? Yes. Okay. Point well noted. Yes. Ye- yes. Yes. All right. So,
Teas. Yet almost swabba. Na ni opese oye nie. MMDC is abaya kratchifo a omohwe ye mensin so no. Aban no hyehyɛ ne sɛ anobo obo ne sɛ opese yet almost swabba. Na waye nhyehyɛ waye ne sɛ ompese obɛ ni nyinaa preko. Na ma obɛhyɛ ase afiri nkropon no mu. Bi te sɛ Kumasi, Nkran, Takrade. Na akwese ye so ahwe. Na je sɛ omo ye ɛhɔ de ni wie a ansa na yaba ye nkuro nkituo no mu. Bi te sɛ time sampa ɛne ne keka ho. Enti ɛno yɛ nhyehyɛ na anohoba ba kwa oboye. Ɛna to amage district boundaries sɛ ɛhye a ɛwɔ nkropon no bi te sɛ Nkran. Ukon kan yɛ sub metros bebree ɔpɛ sɛ oyi saa ɛhye no firi hɔ na ne nyinaa kɔyɛ ekropon baako ɛna ɛfa sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a yɛn nuanom a sɛbisɛbi ɔmo ho aka kakra sɛ yɛadi dɛm kakra momfa nkyɛn sɛ misu saa word no ɛne emabuno ɛne ɛmmaa yɛbɛgya baabi ama wɔn sɛ yɛmfa sɛ yɛkɔ parliament ana sɛ mpo yɛn mansi mu no yɛbɛgya seats no bi ama wɔn sɛ yɛkɔto aba a sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ saa electoral areas no yɛbɛgya ama wɔn sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a wɔn nso wɔbɛnya anamusifoɔ ɛwɔ amamu no ɛfa yɛn district na sɛ yɛn mpɛtɛmpɛtɛm amamu no nti saa nneɛma mmiɛnsa wei ɛna ɔsɛ yɛnni ho nkɔmmɔ na yɛnkyerɛ yɛ adwene ansa na yɛakɔ ne yɛtoa so no medam ase nti nkɔmmɔdeɛ na yɛhyɛ ase no nti wowɔ adwenkyerɛ bi a ɛfa saa nneɛma no a yɛabɔ so no a wobɛtumi akyerɛ w'adwene yɛde kasamu no ma wa na wɔabɔ wo din na ɛkuo a wodɔn no na wama yɛaso ate
onua meda ase pacho mede ya owusuansa me represent ademdifoɔ na yaba which is PWDC no me start here free no point number 3 no I'm say affirmative action no ye ademdifoɔ no sabi eni ahoɔden a betuma akwakoye campaign ɛna sabi yensa ne ndi sika so a yede bɛsara akwakoye campaign enti sɛ yɛgya akwan bi to hɔ ma yɛ sɛ district assembly at least one and say 2 persons be government appointee no yɛbɛfa yɛn abaya a represent ayi na ka fi sɛ ka ɛno mom ɛyɛ na I wonder why PWDs we are under the gender ministry ɔmo yɛ affirmative ɔmo yɛ ma no nko a ɔmo gya PWDs no hɔ parliament which is national wide no enti say no so kra no momfa yenka ho na moma yenya akonya ewo parliament wo se de betima ko obi na you know all kind of say yeni kan ento abano or ye or say the parrot I I know the cabinet ye nyina preko na nti ye nja bi ho na wo koye na wo gyae de akara ma ne akara ka ho anase dai bi wo kra wo nya uwie na wo tema fofo sira so nti ye de a ye nye ni nyina preko me da base.
Okay, but medin di owusu acha me jira homa coalition of concerned teachers sabre Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana me sha se e wo point 1 MMDCs say to omo so aba me susu se ebeboa se de dodo na adwene ko se it should be non partisan se di pan hunu se owo akwanya se ye beto aba asane de ayiri na oye adwuma oyire ne ho aye adwuma yi na mo se political party no ema na appointment a aya na wa hye tumi na political party no wo no ase na odi aye normal ono akasa pe se di pan hunu se there will be an accountability and as accountable brebeba ama ya sana tene so aba oyiri yam aye adwuma ni nyina se bre no so a nipa no besana kai no di dwumadie no ahye ne sa ati me firi se yento abana se de menua di kaka ne yeto so de a yento ni nyina apreko na akwakoye nationalistic in nature na akwakoye se yayi bi ajabi ewo ho medase.
Hello, Mary Daniel. Me a media person. Still, me to me who say ya shall see discussion no ana ina director no propose you say yenye 3 we antana ya twaso ana on ye nyina we anta where are we now? Ya starting. All right.
Thank you. Okay.
Pacho, your friend Adubasum Ibrahim, me free nat. Na MMDC is election nasam no. Say yetimi election mo. Ebra umunjina party biya nemu. Enye president ne appoint to my bebo mine no. Because ebe solve the problem of winner takes all. Near ye who say you two about we are be 4 years and not 8 years. Na political party back open na win election. Enti political parties be braye nimuno na omakwa akoda. Na political party back open na oman no ajapade ni nneema nyina ehye ne nsa. Nti e ba sa no bo so kwan on be fa so a sa political party na wa win no ọmọ modern ẹnọ mbẹ fa so nti no si etimi electe MMDCs na to a large extent no offices na ẹwọ Ghana no ebi betimi akodi other political parties num ho na sẹ ọman na yebu no enye for instance NDC for nkwa na ebu na mom even CPP ni NPP almost so stake in the governance. In your election is a boy. Apart from that, no, Obu ha wo kro no mu. Ono ni NDC, oni MPP, obi anim no. Obi anim say sebe e wo suahunu wa bobra onim de. Obetimi aye MC amana yeye. Na momenam say oni NDC and oni MPP nti no, onya chance bi ambeye be this position no. Na mom e yade anka ye ma kro no obi anim kro no ye beto ama no ama na ba be yes MC no abomoden nti e ba sa na e be boa set people nti no ye nyina ye support to say ye nye sa election no na say yes so as stagger no ye kan emoaye because so we had 1992 election na ye na parliamentary from presidential na amwaye yesua de afrim enti no ye election dia o say ye ni nyina at once so wanye na at once na odi kan ye bia etimi de ayi problem ba ne ye wo be ye no later no enti no
Yo, Madam Wase, Pacho friend me Paul, ye Lucy, me or not. Na point number 1, no, na me person me kan ho asem kakra. Efa abato MMDC abato no. Na ye na nan di constitution ni bae no, em se no mo adwenpo bi nti a om de bae se ma ye nto wo so aba. Na aban bi e be yi no no, eya openipa ko bi a obegi wo madi. Na wono wo mo etimi aye adwuma. Enti na yeto aba bia president no select ni MMDC so that obetimi anya gidie ewo mumu anase ahotoso etimi aye adwuma okokoto aba na se sankrofo no omni president na adwen enkwa security ewo sa district anase mpotem ho no obetimi atoto na sekakra se bia omompe president na se manase ompese omoye adwuma bi etia na obetimi aye etia no sankrofo no omni president na adwen enkwa oman no so eno so de kafoforo eba betu Ghana so nti eno nti memfoa saa abato eno so yenko so enye de ewo ho se de yebeto ye na no ne etoso biom yenim se ye to aba bia e de tension ba oman ni mu ye san kofa abato foforo asan ba MMDC fo yisu no another tension ye to president aba ni wi a tension a ewo mu no ye san be fa tension foforo aba MMDC abato so e de tension asan ba oman mu yenim tokwa hodo etasi o oman mu nti eno so nti memfoa saa MMDC abato no so ye to aba eyi president a ono a enyi ne nkrofo a ometimi ene no abu oman no ntwusu ono ane MMDC medamase.
Okay. Thank you. Once again, Miri Daniel, Mitroma Daily Guide newspaper. Abatuono MMDC is for abatuono. Miri mi fuaso. Say yentu aba na yenyomu. Now the woman is say, and the match over the years and say, election, what governance are party politics are national level. You see at the district level or the municipal level, you empese be partisan. But who do any shame one? A partisan. Omu ni momu, NDC for ni momu, MPP for ni momu. Now no the year 2 years na, one say MPP or government, but NDC say oh. Election equals to your assembly in Nina or winning, and then a mom who's a more winning. They know themselves. And at the frontier, Misumi Pese and Kayenu election is say it brings competition. Say now competition, no, a war, ma party politics at the national level, no. So at the district level, no, so any competition. Now yet Timamufo no ye who say, oh, and this is by no, or more yardie, HMPP. And now CPP NDC, ye yen sa ebeko yi amaye, e member development no ebeko so ntemtem. And ade amahu no so say normally omo beye MMC what do you call it? District municipal and whatever DCs no and am pese me kire. DC normally no on say omo graduate fee omo party level. Onwa na constituency secretary, constituency chairman, and most of them too, excuse me, my fellow teachers, most of them too are teachers. One say at the governance level, no, it's business. But one say, Omubeye district secretaries, no, maybe they by election at the district, their constituency level, no more, but on them, what the leadership qualities be. Meanwhile, because of Obeye secretary, no, I graduate if you no, I what do you call it? DC and MC. Oti honomu won't mean who at the potia or ye on Timing Ankikan who and Yenyama Bebri. Propose that Tronin Yama or Bewini or Betimia generating income assembly no on him wushi. And one is because all classroom no clapu no headmaster, no assistant headmaster, only that leadership quality. But because of party, no akoshe no mass district no suffer. Enti ankabe mia anka miminya yenye what yenye leti omu a Omo young so more business, Omo Timia Yadia, Oma Brabomunu, they are who say, oh, where are some Asan of a Banuno, you see, or to me, you see, or to me, you see. Yeah, is a big boy, development of a costu, Midawansi.
Okay, me that's it. Mr. Kakram, what can I say? Election. Okay. Me the Belinda or say Mensa. Department of Social Welfare, Sunyani Municipal Assembly. See, me can't so say MMDC is election a year. But some of the baby or some modalities ni maybe a bema and fast by elections because in say election it goes with money and a whole lot. Inti bia ometimi aye law bi say campaign no mama ye ncha de yes obi wo ho a o wa adwen ni nimdi a obetumi de abaye but ohwesa na ema ni be put ne ba bi say my some expensive whatever message awo no bring it across na ni panto message no na omunyina so ento aba enye den Emma, I feel so ye campaigner. Can you about my and can opponents the weakness? And I said, Bibia, I was so go straight the old one, my you, Nayina son to Abamount. Medas.
Pastor, within the Faustina Kando, with a young urban women's movement. Mesome can be afa MMDC no ehon yeto abana fan baby fan baby nso emmoa me ka kwesi ne sen me de na mesusu se party no ene beyi ni DC na party no ato omoso aba enka ebeboa na se eba ne se omu yina temamufuo nyina ento abana fan baabi no mesusu se emmoa esan se ye wo district bi wo ho a wo ye president no unni vote wo ho ekoba ne sa opposition no na ebeye den ebeba beteki place na eba ne sa still e the confusion beye den ebeba na se koba ne sanso a emma botaye a esimwani so no enye den entumi emmam ena se sia nso ye nyina ye nim se election bi beto ho pe na akoye sikasem se wonni ska untimi ngeni eno de emfa ho nimde eni nyansa a wo ukita sika nko a dia ubetumi ageni na saying about will be so in fact sikasama e so no na e bro so na chese wonni bi anase wanu nduru dwamu a untimi enye den wonsa enka enti ye besre se de ye beye a ye behwe na ye benya nipa a ewo ya nkasa ye party num a ye nyina ya dwen ye baako na ye betumi apagya oman Ghana medase mekotre no so said de kan say ye becha baabi ama emma no ehu hia yie pa ye besre esan say ye bibibia nyina chiwie na se emma anim a edu baabi a na etosini kese esan say ye hwe empowerment ho na emma dodo no ewo fom eno nti ye da ban na se so no so adwene emma ho so beja seat ewo baabi ama emma medase
abusiafo medamase efrem George PWD me masem pa ya pontre no say ye jai baabi ama people with disability no because amanyo kuo ni bebre campaign say yam yi PWD sin free kwa ho yenyi wo free kwa ho wonim ya to abawie ye PWD sin anya adwuma ni nyina abana le off and no mu nyina ba se omo ho a omo kwa akra
enti ye jaba bi wo homo omo no ye nya representation wo parliament a nka sa ni pai betimi akasa amaye na ye ko situation bi mu a omo kasa amaye na nsi a we ni ba man ti so obi aka wo parliament wo da say people with disability eka ho enti ye nhwe se ne ye be ye omo because man bebre kasetia yemfiri kwa ho yemfiri lord kwa ho yemfiri lord kwa ho no aduma ye koye so na ye lay omo off no enti mesra say we are ye no enko ba bia na aban ne nti say ye allocate ba bi ema PWDs madam ase.
Pacho Medindi Muhammadu Serena, the National Vice President of Ghana Federation of Persons with Disability. Pacho, said yaka local government, kaya yang kwa see yang elected DCs, MCs new winning na. Say a election now will take politics out of the assemble system no. And eba say obia or kwa assemble hono will have a fair deal. And kwaya say politics na ye local government hono. And in addition to persons with disability should be giving some allocation because ya who say ya kasa appointment ya no ya affirmative action ya fa ma bebre but because they didn't specify say ya fa ma say only persons with disability. We are yet and we are waiting to see the number of women they will appoint in the ministries. Appointments are affirmative action. Man who say ya started say ya implementing. Ya pesa buying idea be we say we want to be contributors. We want to work. So they should help us to work. Young boy in Entimi Juma. We don't want people with disabilities. Say omunko jinaka okwainom stress radio. Bebre wo ho mo pepa say omobeye juma. But akwanya omobeye juma no, the public is not encouraging them to work. The employment opportunities that are there, when they are giving it out at the assembled level, they should always remember that we have also equally qualified persons with disability. If you don't know where to locate them, please contact the Federation. We will give you the qualified people who can also equally occupy those positions that you are giving out so that we will also get our livelihoods and most of them will not go back to the roadside and beg. Thank you.
Yeah, from Raphael, Global Media Foundation. Me say binumu kase ye to abana sikasem. Thought that enye sika na win election because now no abeya ye 2 ye. Sikasem anka minim se Said nko be win wo Sunyani. Sika anka minim se Evan obe win wo Sunyani East. And even presidential no kra na sika anka minim se nka John obe win. So it drew some issues bi o you do baby a yesika and ye de win election. Ye share nipa no modern bo any akoso pen and a ma election election. Na me de eba district assembly ne nko ade a say election say appointment you nyina free ho. Na ye ma coordinating directors enye in charge of the district assemblies. Ye run assembly as a directors no, they will do everything within the assembly. Ebasa, they will come out with all the necessary development plans our money. Because say election, and yet they are you bring your political parties on Bewasi. Ye assembly election, and yet partisan. Now say better about you know, no more NDC for any more MPP for. It is that Oko Sunyani Municipal Assembly for the past so many omuni presiding member. Because MPP ni NDC in the it is to abana yenyadi oberini. But you say a non-partisan. It is whether we let on partisan basis or non-partisan basis, we yet the MPP and NDC for the Omo Bejim. It is to make it very safe. Yemfa assembly no Emma coordinating directors. Ne yen rane. Mi fi say yen is a boy.
Thank you. My name is Ishaq Umar Rahima, the majority leader in the Sunyani Adolescents Parliament. Now, me person me kasafa number 1 no. My uncle from Nat said, "Yema abino and appointing nipa or ginidi." and mice yet my mufon a sani pan ye ginidiana. Yen yet ye jahuni nimdi said yes she. Into yen ye say ye to a banner appointing ni panel. Thank you.
Yo, Yadamase. Medinde Joseph crying. May Sunyani is disabled chairman. I was Sunyani East. MMDC for Ayaka Mosemi. Which board knows also local government reforms. Local government no more independent and I say independent. Almost will be as and as almost will be as. There was central government there, enemy local government. Timidum say local no or bois the central government no manaya juma as a way. I didn't see na yesi yam to Moswaba. Na yenya independent for omiti me abe handle. Yen say we as baby na Ghana ha. Untimita Ghana hankase mini NDC, mini MPP, mini CBP. Upia or party or Upia or party or don. Hon can't wa. Because we will niha na woniha. I don't see the Cassie Jama say independent say Ubia in to Abamanoa. Oba said the name Bimokan or Babua, Aban or Honana say obey on one napedie. And the idea say shiny year. Yanko number 3 to say Abanse or Yanawa Jaquania Ama Mabu and Yama member and Neafe ye I had for say Zebu4. Said the name Bibre cano Abesha saying appointed Bibre some montra Kunyasinia Mamma Yente Ubia disabled. Say I take cry back on Minubi. And yet across the board. And into Sano, or more can say, or more dear for one as say. May the maker and say, Tembiano, or more a campaign. Oh, what do you buy? A bill must say, a drew her. No more abu and it's so very crowded, or mutime, and you say, into me, say. Your best day. Say, Unyan who be a sabi we disable na ultimate Trump is ye juma. Sabi otefa ko ye juma 24 hours. Wa wo ye able no ntimi nye. Enso so ye twetwene. Asan say ye kofa se bia no a. Wo bo say ye kokura mpoma na ye piepia ye no. Ase o ma ne nye ho sa. Ye pese o mankasa o na gyegyina ho no ye to mirika ko. Na ye kosa lotuni ade ade. Eno so no enye no sabi eri bo o man nyina. The best so who you say so for so so go dey bia mo say enko school e ko so so a na mo sa na e betena kwanchen dey bia sa na tie ente ma yo so no a ye disable for no hu say ye ni abrese ye ko school na ye enko school the mesre pebre say sa adwumade no a abamba so ye no o ye de a enye fair distribution e ma obi a enkate across the board you say bia obema ye kakra bi na be yehu ne ye ho o ma de ye sombo ai ba bo ko yi na asusu no e wa dwene we tiri ma betumi aba o ma no ama akoyie me na ma se
yes we are that say emreni ti my take it the very last one na you move it to the next issue pacho wait me akasa we are na you move it to the next issue
me de Obin Kwaku National Pensioners Association Sunyani local local government who wants them no. Me na me assemblyman 2002 were one of the electoral areas were Domasi. Ne bi me kase ye non partisan yen tuaba community na wo no. Wo mu ni mo bia ne political affiliation. Enti ye tuaba na eba se we party we na say wo party we no person to mawa ye beto ma wo other party na no omon person beto ma omon to ma enti yenya no at the same sa DCs no media my tuaba bia because elections no ya bre ya tuaba bre so hunti president no no onyi ni nkrofo a office obeti normal ye adwuma wanye ne ye he has the what the capacity or the willpower to sack the person so nti because ukoye ne say oh yanye ne non partisan we no or ko oni party bia enye no kure obia wo party okotena ho a na se yeto aba ma na se wanye ne also ya sanye obia na to man of course the day of reckoning no na say yan to man but ebia na at the saying near man say nti yenye ne se ne ye ne ya na obi na sem se yensa ne twasika foforo ye beto aba ne ne ka ho ya to aba bre nti me de yenye no se ne ewo na.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
I want to make a critical observation about this thing. See, when we say local government, it means government in the location where you are. What we have is that we have governments in the location in the form of these assemblies. What we don't have is local governance. So we have governments in the location, but there's no local governance. People in the locality, their involvement in deciding what is necessary for them is not being followed. The Constitution is very clear about local governance. It even says that for Ghana to have a real democracy, it must be through local governance. Unfortunately, we all gloss over it. The local governance are three-tier systems: unit, town area councils, and the district assemblies. We are emphasizing assemblies, and nobody is establishing the other two tiers: the area councils, town area councils, and units. If you read the Constitution, the provisions are there. One, in the directive principle of state policy, and two, in the provision of representation of the people. Make sure that the requirement, but the politicians, because we are not interested in what is happening in the Constitution, we allow them to do anything. Number two, the concept of delegates. We must emphasize it as delegates, but not you taking what you want. If we are saying that you are a delegate, it means that those of you who are delegating you must choose the person you are going to vote, not you going there to choose whom you want. A delegate is a delegate. It's not a decision maker. But we have turned them to be what? Decision makers instead of what? Delegates. So let's learn from the experiences that we are gathering and improve on it. Recently, I just want to conclude on that. What we call it, Council of State Elections. Look, I know somebody in this region who paid the assemblymen 5,000 each, and he didn't win. No, it's not a criminal. Then we gloss over it. And they collect that from several people. And we know it, and we are quiet. And we say that person should go and be an advisor to the president. Not corruption. Because he himself corrupted himself before going up there. So when we see it in the locality like that, what do? We have to be very strong on it. So we are all the hypocrites here. We know what is happening. And we allow things to go wrongly. Look, what you are saying, if we don't correct the ills and you bring the new things, you will still be having the same ills. So let's identify the problem where it is. The Constitution is very clear, but all of them, what NDC put in there as their commitments, in fact, it's too dilute. We can even improve on that one. That's not what they should do. It's empowerment of us at the local level. I don't want to quote the Constitution, but it is there clearly so that we can also use it. Get us together with you people and we improve our operation papers and give them proper performance indicators, not what they have given to us. They have defined their performance. What is our definition of our indicators? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think we can move on. The issues are many. Otherwise, we will be here for a very long time. So for those who have not had the opportunity, please make sure that they have the opportunity to share their contributions in the next issues. Okay? Can we move to the next slide? and I think Sheikh mentioned the Council of State. So on constitutional review, we know the president has already set up the committee, and they are working on a constitutional review as well. Now, for our discussion, we are looking at, should the Council of State be maintained? We've already heard a comment on the election already. We also on the television the chaos that followed the election. If we are to maintain it, who should be in the Council of State? 2, should we abolish the requirement that a majority of ministers must come from Parliament? Meaning no minister should come from Parliament. Or should we make a minority of ministers to come from Parliament, or keep it as it is? So at the moment, the Constitution says the president should what? Appoint his ministers from Parliament, majority of them. So are we maintaining that provision, or we should amend the Constitution and rather take the minority from Parliament? What is our opinion on this? The third one is, instead of the delegate system, should all political parties have a right to vote to select a candidate for president? Or then the final one, should the term of office of a future president be extended? And if so, how many years? This particular conversation was started by the former president Kufuor when he was leaving office, when he said he would suggest that the term limit for the presidency to be 5 years. Since then, there have been different areas. We want to hear from you. So can we
do a little bit so that we can get there? And to say, Yadru Amamran Sachayim, Embrana Idibu Mino, in Susia about Tisono, Mamutu, or my peninfono. Yenji sa Abujakunum free ho, and I am an war horse in it here. Netosum, you know, to say, Amambani Chesse, as you have for no be no, ye won't free, my sebejum. Inti and also, your money was and I am po ye a crabbing free, my sebejum, not do I'm free, a bonting, one year, my sebejum for, and I am an send money can send it here, and keep on, sir. And I say, your man in tea, send it here. And you share a man you cool, send your money or 1 penny for, say, a year or more come to be and I say, will be our copy or one penny jano. Say, Nipa crabby, na Yeromako baby, no Maku, sir, any pam you know, say, open the Beja crow, and I say, ope, Omano, Oman Dino. Yaman interest, and I say, Omon Tremanin co party for Nina, so now Obiana quine on your day. On to about one channel dream, and son of my Obia or prima Messiano, and I say Obia or pair or Mpenedi, and no need the tosso miensa, and you chat on. Ye share Samri, among Maricha say, we be the Ompenia, in fear nature, or say yet to the swabber. And Sunyani say, Yen Tremo. A man in Quenfian no and sense here, and I say, man in Yan and Senny City na interne in some and Naya Yepese doing commodity, and Obia bet me a shed and drink, say, Open Socha, you know, amount as night because I'm not bro.
Young Fanny say 333.
Okay, into your father part me and some
but then prioritize on Momon Kasai. First issue, no one to me and Casano.
That's
right. Prioritize the home.
Yes, Shasha, and yes, I'm going to see, and I am running to see. I have one, man in Sasso. Okay.
Patro Fremi, JBA Babio, Latter Day Saints. Measure number 2. Should we abolish the requirement that majority of ministers must come from Parliament? Okay, so like, you see our system now, nanka ne papa mu a enye se bia ebeye burden de ama oman no a esan se yeyi ministers ni nyina yeyi ministers ni nyina in parliament, which means we have to have people to come to become ministers. And also no ebe put a lot of burden on the nation because we are going to spend more on those people. And think me mafemwa enka the way CTS is here no number 3 no instead of delegate system no misusu say party bia no e wo ne say abadia I think say to me no ma observe bibi say ye call parliament ayo bibi a ye friend no majority minority to me no ma observe bibi say ye call parliament ayo bibi a ye friend no majority minority but the word opposition no
any of us here why not apply for that information, set the right to the information bill aside. We have not been doing until young citizens no yes you're lazy in looking for or searching for some kind of information about me no disable na obi pushino amaneuba until those kind of laws no, it should only be government institutions no, we should set up institutional laws be applied to across board. Who see hotel facility you should have in mind say you provide a means for obia where you physically challenged. No so about optimal enjoy. It shouldn't be only the government. Until say yes here per se a governance. I would suggest say we should go back. The laws are in the shells are very nice.
Type of government, you know. So say now you who say presidential system of government in the issue, say parliamentary system of government, that which is the fusion of government now. So say you who ain't me matua baba be MP. Be person be MP no na during question time no obe bisa ebia road minister da be na obe you kwaya free katoko akọ ayinasu. You better say a man ministerial appointment. Do our crowd no a foreign minister or the number brochure. Minister now concern now about minister or be bisa nyama FIA empatamuno ye wunu or parliament what will bisa accept. ATB dear say ye practice parliamentary system of government ye practice say practice presidential system of government ye be ye now, say, I say, yeah, practice presidential system. So, about fusion of government. Into the idea, yeah, now, member council of state, you know, council of state, you know, me be who am for so far so be a. Sabaya, yen create second chamber. So say, obi who to before be part of mefa. Now maintain it that so say council of state. At the aba, I may have to say, oh, ideal issue be by the to aba info. Be that. It be the council of state, you know, and Kebenya, and Kayakam, they create rather or create second chamber. So they be constitution. If the constitution is hasty done, they will review it. That time, I feel no matter circles, be a constitution no more. Better once.
So Madam Asibebri, Medin de Nana de Mrunkum crying. Sunyani from Sunyani Traditional Council. And Chichimuka cry, Mesomede man say Council of State, no said a minuana kind. I was say, Omunya to me beer. Sir President, ya, dear be not, dear no ya, or mobile no to me so. Enya futu council. Now, Omotimia catch and idea we. And yet, yempene and my one ye. If he said a iron and a day, acquire a foot. Nipaso so tuno for or pan offer, a foot dear and yanshe. Inti say, quiet council of state, no, or more to me beer. A dear president in a ya, a day mining in our becoba beer, and yeno. Ombed no mutumi no so I catch and say, wait dear. Yempene so, na ye jina homa mining in a minor. ɛna ayiye sɛ yɛmmra mɛboa wo nti yɛmpene ma wo nya de wi mfa ɛman no ɛnkɔ baabi a ɛnyɛ no ɛno bɛboa sen sɛ ɔmo wɔ hɔ sɛ ɔmo tufo kɛkɛ afutuo deɛ sɛbi otu obi fo na ɔpɛ ano ɔfa ne ɛtɔ so mmienu ɛso so yɛ ministerial ayi no deɛ meka fa ho ne sɛ yɛnim sɛ democracy biara no yɛwɔ executives ɛne yɛwɔ legislature ne yɛwɔ judicial na yɛdeɛ menhu deɛ nti a ɛwɔ sɛ executive ɔsan yɛ legislature na adwuma no deɛ he na ɔyɛ sɛbi panyimfoɔ se wontumi nsom nyame mmienu mmom ɛma ne nyɛ yie wobɛyɛ nwunu so a no ayɛ nwunu na ɔyɛ minister na ɔsan yɛ parliamentarian no adwuma no deɛ he na ɔbɛyɛ nti me susu ne sɛ woyɛ minister na wadi wo minister sɛ woyɛ parliamentarian so a ɛyɛ legislature na ɛno so wokɔ na woayɛ w'adwuma wɔ hɔ na ama separation of powers no ayɛ adwuma ɛfiri sɛ obi ɛyɛ minister ɛno koraa ɛbɛboa yɛ ama parliament no sikasɛm bebree no ɛso ate ɛfiri sɛ bebree wɔ hɔ a onim sɛ onya kɔyɛ parliamentarian pɛ likely sɛ ɔbɛyɛ minister ɛno nti no ɔde sika a ɔde bɛgu so na wakɔ akɔyɛ parliamentarian na ɔma na nya akwanya atumi akɔyɛ minister but sɛ yɛgye tum sɛ woyɛ parliamentarian na wontumi mmɛyɛ minister obiara wɔ hɔ a ɔno so sɛbi ɔwɔ nimdeɛ a ofiw sɛ wankɔ parliament koraa ne nimdeɛ no ɛbɛtumi aboa Ghana no ɔnha ne ho bebree sɛ ɔnni sika no ɔbɛkɔ parliament ɔbɛpere sɛ ɔbɛyɛ parliamentarian sɛ ɔte fie na ne nimdeɛ ne nhunumu wɔ soro a president bɛtumi appoint ne sɛ bra na bɛyɛ minister na afa wo nimdeɛ no ɛboa man no nti mesusu ne sɛ woyɛ minister nko ade a ɛho nhia sɛ ɛwɔ sɛ ɔkɔ parliament nti yɛnyi hɔ no
but limited the year they ato so na me wɔ problem kakra wɔ hɔ sɛ yɛbɛtumi ama nipa no atoa so sɛ ne mprɛns na ne mprɛ nan ana ne mprɛ nu so na sɛ ɛne pɛ wɔ no mu no ogu so de mu ɔman no a ɛbi sɛ ɔman no mu nyinaa nia ɔfɛn sɛ oyi no pie a obetumi di abɛ ɔdi ni ɛfa MMDC's elections no to me sɛ yɛbu yɛ ni hwɛ aburukyirifoɔ no ɔmo so kɔsi sɛ bɛwiase no ayɛ global eti utumi pɛkɛ nea obi yɛ a ɛboa no na ɔso wa paste cut and paste ɛyɛ ɛnyɛ mfomsoɔ eti ɛnka middle of the year no a yɛyɛ assembly members elections no ɛhɔ ɛna ɛsɛ yɛde ɔmo ka ho because assembly members no ɛnyɛ partisan but yɛn nim sɛ yɛ partisan yɛmfa ho because ɛdi ɛda so no sɛ ɛnyɛ partisan enti sɛ wo contest this year na MC and so whatever na sɛ yɛnim sɛ woyɛ ni party we ni party we ni but yɛyi assembly members no na yɛyi MMDC no so aka ho na afei party no ɛde akyɛke party in power no ɛde akyɛke na ho ɔde na brabo a wɔbɔ no ɔman no mu sɛ ekoyi a saa elections no ɛbɛkyerɛ no nti mɛsrɛ sɛ ɛnka ɛbɛyɛ yɛ a mo miɛhwɛ ne saa na yɛma munye du ɛmfiri hɔ na I think sɛ ɛbɛboa ɔman no nkyekyereyɛ. Thank you.
Yo. So your friend Daniel Jirasa, my report to my Ghanaian Times. Measure as free Council of States. Council of State concept, you know, me support to say nka you maintaining. Now the only problem I want to say, nka me madri mono me say nka ye no institutional representation. Ye no Ghana Bar Association, Ghana Journalists Association, Medical Association. Ye ni sa institutions no. Omo na me gidi say omo nimdia emu odu omo betimi atu omanpenifo na currently ya no say I say the omo election I mean ni say futu omo edema omanpeni no well represented enti nka me susu say nka ye no institutional representation na omo ntu ɔman no fo afei so kora sɛ ɛbɛyɛ a yɛnkyɛnyim mmara no yɛnyɛ no in such a way sɛ mmara bɛda ho sɛ nea ɔmo ka no ɛbɛyɛ binding on the president ɔbɛfa because yɛhu sɛ most of the time nneɛma bebree kɔ so yɛ council of states ɔman mu anso no ɔmo nka hwee council of states foɔ ka fa saa ɛneyɛ no a ɛkɔ so no ɛna ɛba delegate system no nso a mehu sɛ politicians na nkasa ɔmo adwene mu no na ɔmo de saa delegate system no yɛ because ɔmo preferred candidate a ɔmo pɛ ɔmo wɔ parties no mu ɛno nti na ɔmo pɛ ɛdɔm kakraa bi sɛ ɔmo bɛto ɔmo so aba ɔmo politicians ne pɛ nti ɔmo ahu sɛ yɛyɛ ne open a candidate ɔmo pɛ no ɔmo nya no nti na most of the time ayɛ ne sɛ yɛnyɛ ne kumaa bi sɛdeɛ yɛbɛtumi de sika wuram na yɛnya ne yɛyɛ no nti me fi sɛ nka bɛyɛ a yɛnyia no mfiri hɔ na yɛnyɛ no open na card bearing members a ɔmo yɛ party na ɔmo atumi ayɛ dɛn ɛno na ɛbɛyɛ more transparent ne open yɛtumi anya ɔmo a ɔmo ɛbɛyɛ na ne yɛtɔ so yɛ term of office no I think for now no deɛ yɛ maintain no because African politicians ɔmo yɛ too comfortable a nneɛma ɔmo bɛyɛ no ɛnsɔ ani ɔmo tena se bebree hu sɛ ɔmo wɔ mmerɛ bebree a ɛkwan ɔmo de ɔman no bɛfa so nyɛ but so onim sɛ ɔwɔ mmerɛ kakra a yɛbɛto no so aba a ɔyɛ adeɛ bi a na ɔhwɛ n'akyi nti for the meantime no deɛ saa adwene sɛ yɛnyɛ yi no deɛ yɛnyi mfiri hɔ yɛ maintain 4 years so mekora nka yɛnyɛ ne bɛyɛ 3 years sɛdeɛ ɔmɛtumi ayɛ ɔmo nnwuma ntɛmtɛm na ɔmakɔ thank you
final one na yɛkɔ yɛ anim
medase pacho yɛfrɛ me atagina ɛsɛ CDD-Ghana
mepacho before I wobɛtoa so no sɛ points no obi ameki dada a mɛma yɛ repeat points no sɛne ɛbɛyɛ a mmerɛ no yɛbɛtumi ayusu ne yie pacho wobɛtumi atoa so
in respect of the training okay yeah I also think a council of state it should be abolished because a constitution I think framers or more that the exigencies of that time not something peculiar was pertaining and now air cost but with this day and age we think the council of state it has outlived its relevance and purpose in the sense aside the council of state your government advisor to this economic advisor to this then duplication. Recently, you hear how the Council of State elections a whole lot of bribery and corruption. Obi akwako too mindful. The foundation out there cry is questionable. And I think and also yen free and with regards to tenure any 4 years now. Yeah, any 4 years now. Africa crowd we don't have any excuse. A bad governance, enemies rule, anything a third world we have all the blueprints abroad they develop. In Africa had never extend the tenure of a president, not of sebi or massa or more corruption related in the MSO of the president should be called into question. We should get transformational leadership.
I think we can move on. Okay, thank you. So on anti-corruption, so the level of corruption from 2020 since 2014, between 2014 and 2024, and this is from the Afrobarometer survey, the round 10. From the data, you can see that from 2014 till now, we still continue to have issues with corruption. If you take, from 2014, we had about 83%. But then between 2014, from 2017, you can see that we continue to have the level of corruption increasing. And as at last year, we recorded 74%, which is still very high. It means that corruption continues to be a problem in this country. Next slide. the Corruption Perception Index. This was last year's results. And Ghana scored 42 over 100. That's ranking us 80th out of 180 countries that were surveyed. So you can clearly see that we have decreased since the 2023 index. So corruption continues to be a problem for us. Let's look at what the new government is committed to do about the corruption issue. One is to launch Operation Recover or Loot, which has been done. I'm sure there are diverse opinions on this. To investigate, prosecute, and recover proceeds history to protect state assets and address state capture and looted state lands. To initiate a law to prohibit public officials from purchasing state assets, introduce conflict of interest legislation, and review the Public Procurement Act to ensure transparency and prevent insider dealing. Then finally, establish a special court for corruption cases and empower the Auditor General to enforce the surcharge powers. So these are the commitments of the new government. Next slide. Now we want to hear your own perspectives about the oral and then 2 sanctions that must be meted out to corrupt officials. Must they just be jailed? They be jailed and then we recover our money? Or we recover our money and instead of jail time, we make them do community service? So these are the issues. There are those who think that collecting our monies back, the main important thing. So if we have our money, it is enough. What is your own opinion? Again, we will go from the left or from the right this time around. Okay. Middle. Still, please, let's still prioritize those who haven't spoken and wants to speak.
Okay, very good. And yes, yes,
maybe if you agree, we will do 2-2.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Muhammad Serena. With the corruption, if you are caught and there is every evidence that you have taken government money, they should let you refine it and let you work and pay back. Because the imprisonment, you also go to court, and that means you go and then Ghana government, the taxpayers' money will be used to feed you again. So apart, you should pay back whatever you took from the government. After that, you work to, they should give you some work to do instead of putting you in prison and also feeding you again. Thank you.
Meso me de kakra meka ne se Ghana na asisi a yewo no hefo na ehu omo se omo ye corrupt o se ebisa sa question ansa na ya bade be yi ni nyina so me susu se ba bi a Ghana no aba beduru no esabi nipa e wo Ghana ni nyina ye corrupt ye nyina adwadifo ebu amanfo faso ade no koto no 2 cedis obeton no 7 cedis teacher for ebu amanfo faso yes kwan bia ombe faso ombeje nkura no 1 cedi ombeje doctors for ebu ye faso ye nyina ye nama ye hu se police for eje amanfo ogina car na obeje usika 1 cedi 2 cedis ombeje udru barrier ombeje na yenka enu nyina ho asem no eno na ni nyina eboa no a na afa ko wie kese pa wo soro ho ebi se ye nyina ye hu ye nka de ye nyina ye no enye enti se ye mamufo no a ye timamufo no ye ntutu ye hofo a se de ombebu ya faso na ombebu ya faso enti mum ye nikan enhwe se ne ye boye bra ne Ghana ni onua bia opese o fa nyansa kwan bi so na sebi oji sika firi ho obra enye ne kwan so enti eno nyina no na eboa no ma corruption no ekosoro menim kwan a aya na o fa so index na em se aban mufuo nko a na o hu no se bia o ye corrupt but entisa me ministers na aya na o enyina ye se o ye corrupt o mai se no aya denti na ya na eja chief directors no eja omo ho yeja omo ho na yakoso ministers no enso no nyina na boa masa niema ni nyina akoso enti de mesre nse ye nyina ye wo hai ye nyina ye njintum se enema bone ekoso ewo ya brabom a enye ye jaye no a se kukuru no jaye a keka susu be jaye efise ye Ghana for no first ye se obi Cote d'Ivoire na ye che no otiti ni ti ho na o ka asem bia na nkrofo na je atum meaning se obedi turo oho ni nyina no enye ye nyina Ghana for ye se tete kwashi de kuku ba Ghana ye nyina agitum se kuku de ba Ghana o wiae na o de bae yes enti muma ye hu se niema bia ye hu no se bia esua enunti enye corrupt deal no eno na eboaboa no a na akoduru soro ho na ye sika kakra ya boaboa no na ba akofo no akofa na se ye kohu ni sei na den na wose ye mabatu no so hwe Ghana ha sabi obi akwa akobọ no kro no na sabi abusuafo bi so asore ne yafa ko jan de aboyeti ne akogina nachi den ti na wose basa ya ye kase wabọ krono na e wose sabi ye twe naso no na ya se aboaboa ye ho ne yakogu court se ye mpene ma ye ntwe naso enso sabi ekomodi obi wakotwa bode duru baako ye de natum mfie num gabia nka bibia se menue na kom ne de no enti na okotwa bode enti we de mom ye nsore na ye nye bibi na ye hu se kom eya ye nka enso obi akwa akofa dollars akese pa na party members asore na ye nyina ya bochenku se ye boa na mana bokro no enti he na ye ko ye nikan enhwe ne ya setenam na ye hu se ya setenam nya kura na ya setenam a enye no soso no emmoa ma corruption no emma fom enti se ya nhwe ya setenam na ye de ya nibu soro ho nko a emmoa efise efiri fom na akosoro medamase
yo before nana patch of famana na mami efa oral ehono so no
enti ebasa foforo so besen akofa biem na ye koya na ye bae enti se ye nim se eye no kore pa se se sika no ne ejapade no ya ye nkrofo afa obra eni so omo fa de a eni se ye de che e o se kwan bia so ye je
that's it okay
you vedase me pacho me din de Al Hassan Adama me ya juma Global Media Foundation am say the ye kani na no enkaye senka especially ora ya abai nka na trimpo ne say enema bia ebinom afa a enye mra kwan so no anka ye betumi ahwe say ye nsa beka nanso edikan ye mbisa ye ho say what is even the composition of the oral team no. Is it about said ye binum kana? Is it about witch hunting? Say bia wo wa free so na maba na meba be hwe de waye ana say eye genuine tina ye pese ye and also dan chen a ye hwe niema bia say nka na trimpo ne ye de na nso be kwa wie no na answer the purpose nti a ye establish ye no ye hwe de bi ti say asset declaration emra no ema kwan say ansa na wo be take up any position no anka ubema yahu ajapade awo Emrakro ya also san kese adeɛ na woma yahu no it shouldn't come to the public domain. So yemi say in that case, are we in to support corruption? And I say just putting it on paper for people to know that, because me wadie way nese me diama auditor general ne eni ho kwan se omane ba bonten say me alasa ebia me ba be yemi FM so a anaso omukọ TV so a eni ehu omo so omo ya atamfo but omu si ya omo na ebo mu kodidi omo na ekọ akoye other things a me nu mienu ye hu so ye be pija na kese but we say be wie no na amfa bibia amreye yenhwe auditor general so kura nhwe many at times and I say every year we have reports coming from the auditor general's office anamobe ne atu afa ho report neba yehu omo maye niema yense se omo ye aka se yetu hu anamon yembisa se esen no wo ho e ma saafo no se omutim e bite after finding out all these things enti se ye pese ye ne ye dia and the me say niema ba ko mienu bi wo ho aye say san de ka ho niema bi wo ho aye ma nya public necessary obi ho ka aside from say ye ma na refunding sika ebi awadi no say the menu aba ko ka ye no jailing the person no kran emwa ebesi ama aban na boka because ye the tax man for taxes na ebehwe no ye betimi ama all refund this can no sign yes service in the community. At the end of the day, no, we're triakano, was here, your Juma Boa Mino. Mijis say, Yanasa, a babuine.
All right, Medase. Yes. Ura no. I buy me no. Even though there were a lot of people in Ghana omukasetiaye na mumeye because o manager padie de se nipa ba akubi ana nipa bi no pese omufom na omonko anya em say yi na ye sofa ndi so bi aba na so o gisa niema no asan dia breya it's in order is na mum ye mu bi no kura pese nka president onko to ne bo kakra na set up commission of inquiry na ya broadcast it na amanfo be appear before it na the whole world no be hu se wa ba betena ho na se wadi boni be over discharge ho no kura be boaye nti ora no de eye papa na mom sa na nka me su se o sa nka oto ne bo na nka what take over or set up a commission of inquiry na yetena senior broadcasting live no bi atie ehwe na no kra yesuahu sen ni omoyeye no ne me san pese me ka ho me ka fa ho no ye ayi corruption no in fact corruption no ya ye ka corruption na isa say me ne wo ye be kofo mako he the root of corruption no ya ne ye mpe no sa ne ye pese ayi ye kosoro eko so nuyabanu e ba sa yentimi solve corruption no hwe say teacher ni o kira de no one ma work say akwala on describe ne pet awo as homework non famra nti akwala ba ko o school no one year work no na teacher ni bisan say na o work wen o si teacher mi ni pet enti mi ni pet no me ntina manye work no on say in the Ghanaian context no you beka sakwara na jimi but in fact that is the best solution because oni pet o pese oditro have you seen it right on an excursion you have undertaken I have never embarked on any excursion and you are asking me to still talk about something that has never happened. It's a way of preparing children to be corrupt. It's a way of preparing children to be corrupt. Now, yes, now I have said severally, everywhere I go, I'm ambassador for this, examination more practice. I'm an ambassador for that. Now, I want all gathered here to know, say, there's a positive correlation
between examination malpractice and corruption. That is to say, what is examination malpractice? Examination malpractice is idea akwalano undeserved se obenya A, also nkunya F, but wafa kwan bi so no wanya A. Wesi, and wafa kwan bi so also nkunya 7. That was mass BC, but wafa kwan bi so no wanya 3. Na undeserved se nka obenya school bi akọ, but enam kwan of fast nti no wanya school no. Enam kwan of fast nti no wanya adwuma bi. And what is corruption? Corruption say idea one deserve 1 million na wenya. It's the same definition, it's the same thing as examination malpractice. So when we are encouraging examination malpractice with our kids, our students, or whatever, me know me per se who say and no contribute very immensely towards corruption. And this is per se corruption, no? Because yeah, omo ya corrupt no obi adikan say omo ya ban adwuma panyimfo no. Omo ntan ko school no mo akura sen. They don't have much doing with corruption. And you know, ya per se solve corruption na yan hwe examination malpractice no. Because I no ma obi fi say near undeserved no wanya. Undeserved no wanya dia and no leading into corruption no. So let's look at that very well.
Yo, Comrade Japan said, you know, the American is to force na and go find she say you introduce how do you call it court no tribunal no you introduce tribunal no anymore ya anya sa na ma normal court no so munni sa adwuma yi ma ya I'm afraid enya adwuma because you move ye free aban mu no ya pack court ho ye in our favor me kan ho bi me nka say me nka ho bi me kan ho bi so na yesu ya pack court ho no no enya adwuma nti o ma tribunal no emra na yenji esika emfa nchichire o man no finally me transi na education and person me kan kitu bi kran so na transi won kasa ho monka o me ba corruption ne sa ne ma ye kan nyina no start free ya disuemu me kai me wa ruchire me ba 3 years o me ma me take it adai ma pake babia sabita frache disables eba abeto ade eso bo pake na me twa me ho a manye babia me hu se ho down no minim sa me to ade ama akla no aba me etuka na kosisi a me wura mu no ofre police man me say on hwe se ne papa pake me ameba 3 years girl ne papa pake babia o se disable ene pake ade na me kan we ye de oman no hodo atete no ye de oman no hodo atete no ama sa samos ne sa ade ni nyina no KGL say after your start school no wo hunu se ho e wo se obi asebe wadi dem ene so paki ho at the age of 3 years enti say ye the ehwa asientamo a sinking into them. The baby obedru bia no where is the bit say or your mind papa. Enti mo me sha see free baby you bit me dru.
That's it. Very last one but Tintium.
Abaya japade bia akodi obi abotom bia na so obi afa no e wo se ye gye ya de back. Na ye de ekrakra oman no. Na anya sa nka obewe se ye to oman mu forest ya ye gya no for so many years. Na ba akofo akwachecha ma na busuafo e wa abra ye abanye japade. So we need to stop those things. Na social corruption ehwehwemu ama ye hu se afi bia enya hwe kra over $3 billion and they call in the name of corruption. You call ya mefo kwaji $3 billion for 3 years. Enti se omano timisi corruption no ano kwan a de edi kan no IMF no ye nkobim Because $3 billion 3 years, now every year you lose $3 billion in the name of corruption. You call the IMF. You could be. Enti ora ne de se adia yira wo ye nyina ye tifinance adia yira wo medem. Na me su se me kwa kofa police aba. Na se nyo na wo wi ade ade wo so wusu. Ade wo so wusu sa ade na kofa police aba. Enyo na awi aye. Enti jama me kofa me police mra. Na mo se wusu sa ade na kofa police aba. Enti omo amu ye dede se ora ne ye ntia se ne kire se bibi wo ho. Enti na omo ntia se enti wo se ye hyemu kena. Se de ebinim ka ne ebe ye yi a enka yemba emfa emra mbata ho na ora no emra mbetena ase se NDC ne ho MPP ne ho ora no enye adwuma be enka enye independent body anka obi bia se wo aba mu woni aba mu obi wi aga na ade a ya Jeffrey ne ho.
All right, thank you. On education, we also have again the commitment of the new administration. The new administration is saying that they would extend free SHS to cover students in private senior high schools and abolish the double track system. Launch a furniture for all initiative for furniture supply at the basic level. Address the acute deficit at the basic level in partnership with the local carpentry and furniture industry. Then finally, implement no fees stress policy for parents and students at the tertiary level. So these are the major areas the government has committed to. Now, the first conversation we want to have is, should there be equal allocation of tax revenue and resources into basic, secondary, or tertiary education? Basic education be prioritized. Just a bit of background. You recall when the free SHS was launched, there was the argument that why not focus.
Pachamedase, within the Uswachion, Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana, PRETAG, previously CCT. Pacho yaba education no eswa. Ade ba kwa ma huni se ye giant basic school no ho. Ana attention no akọ free SHS. Ana ne ekọ the tertiary level. But mpanimfo se we see dan na se foundation nya. Ye ti ameka ne se ye wo school feeding program a ye de ma KG at the primary school. But ye JHS fo no akwala ko school ye ma na aduane. Ono na eto na aduane ekodi kwesi ba. But yeba SHS free SHS policy no ema ye man kwala na duane ema day for no kwala ye mo one hot meal. And it is attention na nko foundation na ye basic no na se ye nya the quality education no wo ho a ye tertiary no omo be ko asana kokoye examination more practice na ba be adwuma no mo ye they don't have the skill on the job. And it me adwene ne se ye nya basic no ye nya ni yie na se ho ne ye yie a de aka ne ye to aso a enya ade a ye bebre. And two, our incentives, I said, the teacher for they call the deprived or underserved areas. No, back on the kind say a catcher for na a crado. Se baby biara Ghana ni ba obiano, ombeko aquachra de ewo. Now so ye didn't panibeko could do hono, Okurasika, Daya obednya a high at Demukrano, a issue. Okrano ni sika ope Daya haya, watana achra de badan o nyabi a day. And to be to free hay, aqua could afri Sunyani aquayasan, aquachradie, Eddie Abba. And to free hand could do no, not have any day, echo. On sign brano, then so cabibri, and abatimidi, the minimum say. Say, I buy AC hospitals, sir, Osia or the staff bungalows here day, eka home. And into baby a basic suku dembiano, ya first staff bungalow in your day, eka home. Nipano kono baby da. The cost of traveling from Baby or walking to the school no and be free. And the last collective bargaining agreement medical simple test the condition of service yes sign it with government teacher say obi obeja to say obechira de with the private areas no ye money 20% of the gross as rural area allowance ya ye agreement na wie ye hwɛ saban e de beba be kire say uba Sunyani a enkuro we na ya rural areas asafo ne betima den anya sa allowance no if such allowances are implemented me gidi say kire ni kura no obi owo kromu a sabi 20% no ebe encourage na mana akokro ketua mu no no so akokire ade wo ho bebre ka ho na menuanom e wo hanti
wa cho bebre emreko enti obi katama yenwen yaso na se ne be ya yen go over yen repeat ni waka no se ne be ya bitin ya content
but my first one no say China you contribute to Finland where no more 99.9 literacy rate or more education from primary to university a free. How do they do it with regards to funding? Or more dedicated funder. And no or more school and seminar with regards to the renewable bossy infrastructure, ABC, school teachers, but be a just all areas. And the other antenna, our blueprints, no, our honoma, as third world countries at Timbia Yesu, says it's a young follow. Nanka ye oil yan, Nanka yamfa education, Nanka procurement infractions, nay, breaches nina, because near all can you say a bino furniture or be provided. Sa furniture, Yabaka, no party teacher might be a contract, no. Shodi Nkonya and not the within some few Ikrana. And this annual money in Nasa, I read Nasa, there was dedicated fund and Nasa procurement in the Manema, express or Obasunya carpenters for her, or Munima Jumakra say, yet the contract about Komomo, you found Komomo. In the name of party, yes, Ganti, yet the contract about Komomo, not at the end of the day, no, in Miani say supply and supply for. Nina Kaho and Ama Yababedruai. And to say Benya dedicated funding, say from the oil process, no, and non quanko education mu, Nasa Nema Babia leakages in the one a block. I think, say, and Kababa. And the last one, teachers' incentives, no, Mebra can Osha Party's manifesto from 2012, Obia rural areas. The teachers and Oko Babita say, Kwame Danso, Nikaji Honoma. Your island communities were hard to reach. Yeah, teacher unions until school visitation. Now, so I could hear baby pa and cra eti. Asia, yeah, the oba what to tell about Bonhoka, so your teacher Nipana say Pusuno, you weep. And the conditions of service now, yeah, and Tambia say teacher for do not say near by qua or better near Tietriano. Some of these things, a teacher welfare. And they are ashamed from 2012. A minus Wadia to Tambia New Mosai. Say, at least, some could sit down Krana. Say, 20% of teacher no allowance or the Bemano no. At least a bit more motivating in life. But, Omonye, maybe I can say, I buy say, onim the definition of a Kura and a rural area in Ghana, village. And a teacher unions, Yakofa consultant, the definition of deprived area, and also a banning sign Krana or implementing the Krana. There's no commitment. And this manifesto, SM said they will implement. And you know, Monfan in Shem Namon country abine say commitment no condition of service that teachers in Naya sign no commitment no. On Fanya Juma, send a buyer, the teacher be motivated to go to the rural areas. Thank you.
Pacho medase medindi Muhammad Sri na masamba bio. Pacho with the furnitures non sono ya wa technical schools ni technical institution. Instead of say the bekwa koma private people or mobile charge government no. As part of practical works ya institution in technical institution ni ya no furnitures ning mason work ning other things no. With the what they call electrical works ya need the human resource we could ask them to help in providing it. And with that, no, it will serve as a practical way to help the children have hands-on practicals on how to produce some of these things. And at the same time, it will reduce the cost of producing some of these products. Most of the schools so anya furniture. Thank you.
Yo, me da say, me so me de sponsor Augusta concern. Me a teacher ni. My child there be 20 years almost. I say more education office. No kwasem ni say you can say teaching. You can say Ghana education sector no. Ye nyina ye wo ha ye dia dance here. Na nka obehwe say private school for bi wo ho a say bi nne omunya adwumanti owie university a osan kwakire. Na nka ono a wo awie SS. Na nka ti say bi a wo awie training college akọ university na ọchịrị akwara na dị n'ohu niema bebre a stakeholders abanye the head no one neglect yen textbooks ye change course it take about some months before a textbooks na nka ye dey ko chire yes me person mechanic sipo wahu ya na ye mpanyufo no ye kata bibi so kakra wahu it take ye na wo pese adusuani ade chire nkoso ade a wo de beba ma ye de ayenye teachers yi omo na omo de omo ska to notebook wo pese ye nye notes no nti ye kwaso a na ye odoka che se onu so oni sika eye because wo kwa adwuma bia ma akade a bede mabe a bede ye adwuma wo ho wo ba ye ha ye nye teacher for ye kwa workshop kura ni ensa gueti esansa ne bede kwa ma ye no enye but other sectors o mu kwa workshop na ba ebo se be fiefo nyina be di bro nya esansa o ba kura ni o de betu ni boto ma ba kura no etimbo akonhoma afebo nti teachers no ye kura ni ye wa abadaye a ye wa rihwemu se ye katua wo heavy nti a ne ma bi o kura ye den ye ukwa assembly a uti ye ni municipal assembly ana no work yo good a no oboa me say me a field worker ye hwehwe teachers no ukọ schools no ma na aka akra de bekọ no kra ye wo he ukọ ba bi ti se brekuma ye de lucky ye areas na nye that outskirts na ukọ time last ye call ye teacher unions nti ye call time me say ni o ye adwuma o bi esese nka ba ma ne double dene nti se mo pese adusua ne ade kire koso pa de a mo hwe ye especially primary for no basic no na afroa na akọ soro wo hwe ye no wo hwe nkora no na wo ye ade ne Ghana sustainability ne enya adwuma modern problem ayi niema begu akọ ne fefefe ayi sa himfi asem bekukuru no hu a kire ba gya ne bọkọ wo beka say ye be ye we ye be chiche ayi uniform e ba kora be hwe so nche ben fa ma ne hu modalities bebre na de no be hu ana time akọ in fact ukasa wo kana some of us now we've become a bit emotional nti yesre some person ye nyina so nim say the backbone of every country we agriculture adwukyerɛ ne adesua firi hɔ a agriculture no wɔ hɔ enti sɛ sɛ ne yɛsi channel nneɛma kɔ agric ananse ya muhu ye mumfa saa ɔse anya ɔyɔ saa feeding program first sɛ na yɛhyɛ teachers nsa ne politics nti aduane sɛbia te sɛ krama no aduane head wuntimi nka ketra no ɔba utinya ni 2 times a month at the end of the month no akwa gini sika kufu no ɔne ne yira ne ɔma beedio nti na nkura ya bane say or the aduane ba bi maame krobo mani sika teacher ni mu ni sika me yin so no an ye di to aduane man kro wo di aduane kro nso no wo yi ama kra nti muso feed ni mu se wo ho wonhu na wo ho kra aduane be de ma wa sabu wo kana man kra wo mfa sa aduane ne ma no first anka hese no ye tinhwe na ya mark sa aduane ye man kra ni nne aye politics party ne chairman ne yira de wo ye da akoka ukoka kra enkosi aga enkosiaga enti sa ban pese yen kire de yie na Ghana fo nkura be hu ade te setetes form 4 na form 4 ni bi twere ye gu ya sabi ne Ghana university ni bi kura ontim brofo form 4 ni beka university ni tia no odwane se be parliament brofo seminti bebre ntimi nka sai nne ye kan se enka ni twi we kasa mi kura ma kasa
opening me dawasi bebre teacher ni no eba bewie no masema anka me beka pa na odi twato no enura ye ko educational forum bi nti mpanimfo no ba ho pa me de to omanim bibisa o mo se ye hefo no mo yi ma no se ye Ghana fo na me se menye ntum se ye Ghana fo de na kire se ye Ghana fo nipa biara ade ɛda wo nso ɛma obi hu nipa ko a woyɛ ɛne wo kasa ɛno nti sisisi ɛyɛ ɛbaa yi yɛanhyɛ yɛ ho sɛ yɛnka borɔfo na yɛanhyɛ yɛ ho sɛ yɛnka yɛa yɛ kasa nanso wohwɛ sɛdeɛ yɛde yɛ kasa no ɛkyerɛkyerɛ nsɛm mu a sɛbi binom wɔ hɔ a ɔmo kasa yɛ kwan a ɔmo fa so kasa ɛne mmerɛ a ɔmo de kasa no sɛ yɛ borɔfo anka ɛnnuru saa ɔbɛka mmienu pɛ na wɔtwa so enti deɛ meka kyerɛ ɔmo ne sɛ yɛyɛ Ghanafoɔ enti deɛ ne si yɛ ho kwan sɛ yɛde yɛa yɛ kasa ɛbɛsua adeɛ a ɛbɛboa yɛn efisɛ sɛbi sesei yɛnim sɛ yɛyɛ British o sɛ yɛyɛ Ghanaians o we don't know saa broni no a yɛde yɛn ho di sɛ ɛnɛ yɛdi yɛn ho so no yɛnni yɛn ho so we are still in slavery efisɛ aborɔfo no yɛpam ɔmo ama ɔmo kɔ ɛnso ɔmo kasa no sɛbi wokɔ school na wantumi ampaase borɔfo a school a wakɔ nyinaa ayɛ kwa deɛ ntia ɔbra yɛ soso Nyankopɔn abɔ yɛ ahyɛ yɛn so ɛde yɛgu baabi ama yɛ kasa sɛ yɛntumi nka yɛ kasa na yɛfa ɛnyɛ deɛ ɔsi yɛde yɛ biara enti education yɛ a yɛyɛ sɛ yɛyɛ no wɔ yɛ kasa mu a enipa bebree wɔ nimdeɛ ɛwɔ nneɛma bebree a wɔn bɛda n'adi ama yɛ man na tumpɔn sen sɛ biribiara a yɛyɛ biara no yɛyɛ no borɔfo no efisɛ Ghanafoɔ yɛyɛ wɔ ha yi yɛn nyinaa yɛbɛgye atum sɛ obi a otumi ka borɔfo ntɛntɛm na ɛkyerɛ sɛ onim nyansa paa saa na yɛhu no saa na Ghanafoɔ yɛhu no obi a wakɔtena burokyiri aba a ɔka borɔfo paa no kyerɛ sɛ ɔyɛ adeɛ paa na sɛ obi a ɔno ka borɔfo no yɛ adeɛ deɛ a ne ɔde borɔfo no ma wo no deɛ sɛ na ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɔyɛ superior ɛno nti sɛ yɛntumi amfa yɛ kasaa no amma yɛntumi amfa nni dwuma ammoa yɛn amma yɛ man na ntumpɔn a yɛ ha yɛ ho bebree sɛbi wode kɔ galamsey site na frɛ nipa na ɛwɔ hɔ no sɛ o check a wobɛhu graduates ɛwɔ mu ɛne ɔmo ankɔ school yɛ mu bebree hunu sɛ ɔwakɔ akɔtwerɛ wɔanya borɔfo bi a sika so ne fie enti na ɛwɔ sɛ ɔpɛ baabi de ti bɔ na sɛ yɛyɛ yɛ kasa a wo ka nsa na sɛbi watwerɛ a ɛbɛyɛ den ama ne sɛ ɔntumi mpaase ɔno ara ne kasa nti ne ya ɛwɔ ne mu anka ɛwɔ sɛ ɔde boa man ne nyinaa no sɛbi na aba abɛyɛ kwa enti mesrɛ mo momfa nhyɛm na mommɔ mmɔden sɛ yɛ kasa no menka sɛ borɔfo no yɛnsua ɛwɔ sɛ yɛsua French nyinaa yɛsua na mmom yɛ kasa na ɛkyerɛ nipa ko a yɛyɛ ne deɛ ɛwɔ sɛ ɛno na di kan ansa na kasa biara aba akyiri nti mawie no na mesrɛ sɛ education no deɛ yɛnhyɛ aseɛ mfiri nketewa no basic secondary ansa na yɛakɔ tertiary efisɛ nipa biara sɛ wanantu ɛso sen na yare wɔ mu
na ɛda so bebree mama yi hana
Mende Ebenezer as for Nagrat. Yɛhwɛ incentive a yɛde bɛma teacher ni bi a yɛde nakɔ deprived area there. Sɛnea me nua yi kaeɛ no teacher unions yɛ propose 20%. A yɛdwene ho a de bɛsi nnɛ aban no ɛmfi yɛ. Na me deɛ megye tom sɛ saa 20% no kora ne ɛsua. Sɛ saa teacher no bɛgye atom sɛ ɔbɛkɔ village akɔkyerɛ adeɛ na de private area akɔkyerɛ adeɛ a nanka yɛsusu sɛ at least anyɛ yɛ 50% of the gross salary deɛ yɛde bɛka ho a ɛbɛyɛ incentive papa ama na ɔbɛgye atom na yɛyɛ ne saa meyɛ sure sɛ teacherfoɔ bebree bɛgye atom sɛ deprived area hɔ no ɔmo bɛkɔ na afei deɛ ɛtɔ so mmienu a yɛhwɛ a yɛ basic schools no aban bi aba a asɛ na ɔnte n'ani nhwɛ hɔ papa yɛde kɔ SSS ana SHS ɛna tertiary sisi a promise aba ne sɛ first year wokɔ a aban ne sɛ wobɛhwɛ wobɛtua fees ama wo na die ne no basic level ho asa ho no etos ne kakra ntimi de aha omuntu aba masa no ntia omuntu aba nkora nkitikiti oto aba enyeje ntase aban bia okọ na oba yemfe ani enhwe hoyi si yehwe kapa aban no abon wo free SHS ho a na sa wo hwe se sa aban kro nankasa basic level na feeding grant kra enkwa na ha adwene nti ebesre ye nyina so man ye nyintum se edi eni ebekire basic level na eho no mu fra omba SHS na ne omen na akwasu me damase
a friend of na France Sam issue suggestion yeah person me the tears my house over who say various reforms are yeah education money are dey nyina beto send no abambia mbaya seriously why involve civil society. I didn't make an answer. I'm say some time back in the education policy, you know, yeah, ne woman say under the local government, you know, a woman say communities should own the schools. Where is the community participation in owning the schools, and for that matter, no, the necessary reforms in education involve Nipano. Before says here, it may involve citizens now. Nananom churches, one say accommodation come once a me. District Assembly, a team up with Nananom. Ombe to me, I provide accommodation. Royalties na nanan mojieno. Enyempa buaso mekentina abaitwe royalties in mawon. BGDA says royalties no omu team up with the district assemblies na ombe to me I provide infrastructures bia banansa enye dey enko ho. Uko villages ni bia school there esi ho. Eche mi pani. Me betu me papa betu echo the same school there. And that's you the state of that structure now. Bibia Crampo and control say Maoba. When they made him back because Nancy and Che school down Ebugu Quadaso somewhere in the central region. Yet 20 a year and high. Citizen involvement in education virtually non-existent. Internet say Abana Base or pursue promote education particularly at the basic level, especially kindergarten home, where the foundation is needed now. As I say, you provide infrastructure a year corner, a quadano kowa, one year school, Madam say.
Thank you. Pacho, your friend me, Kabor Ibrahim, the adolescent MP for Abetifi Zongo. Pacho, Medasi, concerning education, I think teachers. Thank you. Mijidi say, ye buana say, and Quadan Union Ketuano. Ye boa mona say, infrastructures or muhia or modibus de. Any and your ma ebe boa mamma masia de a intentem ebe boa moi. Ye provide this annual mom. I think say that will help them ebe boa mama or masia de. And I be also a brona, I say, and Colana Mayan boom, and I think say something a hard in the pa because a Colabeco school. Over cash and say, be umbra 6 o'clock, 6:30. My about 6:45, 6:50. Yes, it teacher any man bono punishment. O punishment, say me yet. Untimi mono untimi and she. Untimi son sakia colana so uncle fee and cotton fee. Until a man colana you too stubborn to the extent say, I dear open oil school, teacher any casa on tea, or only open a teacher in your man. Until I think say more resolve issue we have.
Medase. Your friend ya Oceansa. Media di campa a hammer pa posties. Nkranasi bebre wo ho a obo hiya teachers. Mo se yem postu. Me dwene ho a menti ase. Eti yesrebo mo me enkofa tete de rebra. Uwie training college na ya postu no mo ja service re ye. Na ye hwe na mo enkyere nkrara de. Na bio ai na bi no so ka se private schools no omo ya ade sen public schools no. Private schools no be call incentives nyina bibia wo ho. Wow, and I made it out to be children, my own ye. I cried in who are there. And so, because public school, textbook would do, a logbook would do, a teacher's notebook would do. Now, I made it what much I have done. It is say, I buy mass money in available. Ewo in Kranasi public schools, you know, said the Baya teaching and learning can go on very well.
All right, thank you. I think we should be moving on.
Me bacho your friend Costa Sinkitia. Your friend Costa Sinkitia. Be free National Pensioners Association. Senate. I was Sunyani. Me pese me can asem kakra bi fa first point no anya we mom de nya de was screen so no there extending free SHS to private schools, now abolishing the track system. Now, first of all, admission, free SHS admission, I make one face. Me a former headmaster. Now, ya junibia ya father da be a ma bontene. Ono na ehami. Adwene efa ni say free SHS no aboa awofo ni ye nyina. Anti ase yeto abai kasa kakra ni anwinwi bi aba nipa ni trimu say ye betwem ana ye ntwem. And inti da ya dwene ho se ye wie BEC no a na CSSPS e process omo forms ni nyina wie a ya omo de list no akwala na atworo no apase no near the headmaster na headmistress na ye say a drew sabre no. If I say headmaster at Tran office, no team fin. Ninsa nifa board chairman at any ho. Ninsa bonkum PTA chairman and so ti ho. Na parent no de neba anya admission no aba office ho. Na ya bisa no Ghana card. Now, before the headmaster, no, the person abai mano, if you dear to be a friend, you switch type, no be. Now, if you want mano, as a TV, kitu be a friend, monitor, kitu be in the office, ho. And it is over, admission, no, bisa or Ghana card, no, they share ye switch in them. And why on phone in will be bia na begu. Monitor no so nipa miensa we ade wo madwen ka mmomo a on betime hu se wo betime atua wo school ubano school fees na ya prepare bill near the amount wo betime atua boarding fee but ntade ne de aka no de esese aban de mawo no the amount. Wo untimi ntua hwe because ye hwe wo wabakosem a wo screen no so a ba the Ghana card no a untimi ntua hwe ehwo a wo de obenya free SHS bill. atwa bibia tie yɛde asɛm yi ba yɛde akɔ aban mu ɛnso so mente ho asɛm da ɛnso so sese nwinwin saa na ɛwɔ enipa mu deɛ ɛtɔ so mmienu ne abolishing the double track yɛbisa sɛ nkwalaa na ɔmowɔ double track schools no ɔmo yɛ hemfo nkwadaa Ghana for nkwadaa and the only thing is this say ɛsɛ aban bi a ɔbɛba so no ɔkeka no ho na osi adan classrooms dormitories dining hall kakra nye prekope say ya ebeduru baabi no yebenya omu mebre na edan ho asem classroom ho asem bia en hadwin bio na ye boy ye ho modern say and ye yemfa private schools omu schools no meka abande ho dia and na private man no oye den ni teachers no ombaye omu dia ebeye din enti ahwe ya ebeye mouth talk keke. The only thing is that a bank should try bait by infrastructure. Yes, yeah, double track system will go away. Thank you.
Mr. Bebre, Emrano kwa 20 minutes. Until unya wina kasamuna yerentintium. Mr. Bebre.
Me pacho Gifty Lovi, member of Blind Union, Masiaba. Me pacho masma me srene say education sani aban bia ba na or the policy aba na we ba o se mu be hye tin ni pa no we ba o se mu be hye a kala no asori kala no ya na ha dwen bi kura na ba tan bi wa pamatade abusu mienu kura maaye na Jesus ampam foforo ha dwen na we mu be hia we na ye ko school da textbook ba ko an ye yisu saa ana we be yisu hwan we be yisu hwan ya na emoa nkola no afesu nkola na ye ntia wo mu no emoa kura ama ne nkola boni aba montene so yesra se ye ntia nkola no no an se ye be hwe ni yie se ye mpra nkola no ana afesu asem bi ha me pa wo Ghana ha sei we de mesra mu ma menka to say customs for chinyoma material ntoma bikura mu anwa ni ahye no nyoma be articulator 5 ni ahye no enye nka yemfa nkoma children's home for no na yemfa bikura
kuane aboy abaso ya ma asai na so no lecturer na no achi no na the car no eco magazine no me say nsembisa kakra ewo ho osuro se enkwala ne ye ka no a omunye ne yi ana se edenti na o man kwala no nye ka na omunye na ohun so ade a me kire nkwala yi me gidi se nkwala yi ayeden o mahu ene se enko magazine dia adenti na ye nkwala ne wi SSA ye mo mo nko magazine na omo nko preko enkosua ade enu ye baako ana se ye de yebenya ni allocation of tax revenue e de akoshe tertiary ana se abane kan se first year no obetua se o ko tertiary obetua school fees e de amount me se utumi nya adwuma e den eye ho a ebetumi aboa wo ama watumi anya sika atua school fees no awie enti se bibisa ho a eno beboa ana secondly no so no ye ma free no edoso a na akwai se ye ma parents no aye unemployed na mom aban ateki parents responsibility because aban no bia no aboni trimu pose all ma employment and also na parents na tumi anya bia ye na omo tumi aye responsible for their children Because parents, you know, you're responsible for our children. I don't think there is a need for any free education. In terms of media kakra, me ono.
Okay.
Yeah. My name is Crunchy Christiana from Indigenous Women Empowerment Network. But on the issue of posting, I have a grievance. I'm a beard holder, and I don't know the criteria, like I don't know the idea behind this licential rights and all stuff. So if there's a new administration, I would like to suggest, say, free honor, and even if we are going to maintain it, within the 4 years duration now, the program, no, it should be the last thing you write. You shouldn't complete school and come and write licential before we will post you. Asana, and with the posting, no, one thing that it saddens me is you, like after completion, you have to pay some bribes or something before you get posted. Like, I am questioning myself right now that where will I get 10,000 to pay that bribe before I get posted in an institution? Where I did my service, I knew very well that they need English teachers, but then in that particular school. And to me, is it the government that's giving the power to the headmasters to take those monies they are? Thank you.
Thank you. So, we are wrapping up on the last issue, so I hope you go to the last.
I think we can move on. So, let me. Hello. There will be opportunity for us to continue to share our opinions on the issues. But let us try to wrap up on all the issues so that we can make some progress. Own enterprises, yes. So what I'm going to do is that when I'm done with each slide going forward, let's try and note down some of the questions so that when we are having a conversation, we can have a very holistic conversation. Thank you. So what are the issues? State-owned enterprises. The new administration is saying that they would restore prudent management of state-owned enterprises to deliver on their mandate, strengthen state-owned enterprises and parastate to undertake strategic financing development projects on the strength of their own balance sheet, mitigate government exposure to fiscal risk by listing state-owned enterprises on the Ghana Stock Exchange, then review the role of the state interest and governance authority in relation to state-owned enterprises. We all know the challenges with the state-owned enterprises. They are supposed to make to this, then we discuss it before I move on. So the cost of doing politics in Ghana, has been a major concern. There has been a lot of conversation about reforming the area, and I believe some of our earlier discussions have, made some of the issues on politics. But I will try to situate the conversation again. So at the moment, it's obvious that it is costing the average politician a lot of money to win an election. And this ties into the conversation about corruption. Because if someone spends $85,000 or $100 million or $10 million, whatever the cost is, just to become an MP or a presidential candidate, when they are in power, what do you expect them to do? they have to what? Recover the money they have spent. Next slide. Now the conversation has in political parties. And in the 2022 Afrobarometer survey, we had about 45% of Ghanaians strongly disagreeing that the state funds should not be used to do what? To fund political parties. Now, what is the best approach to do this? Still, we have about 29% of respondents saying that government should not support political parties. So Ghanaians are very, very definite on this matter, that they do not want the state funds to be used. Others believe, 20% of respondents believe that government should provide equal amount of free advertising on state media for every political party. Now, the NDC government or the new administration is saying they will engage stakeholders to review the regulatory framework for political party financing. And I believe you are equally what? A stakeholder yourself. So your views are needed. The issues here, the EC should set an election campaign period of 3 or 6 months for every election year. At the moment, we know a lot of campaign go on, even sometimes a whole year, 2 years, making people to spend a lot. The EC should support political parties through subsidies in kind, like supervising internal elections for free. At the moment, the EC charges the political parties. The final one, members of the ruling, back, I think, cost of politics. The last, yeah. All campaign contributions to parties and candidates disclosed, and there should be a cap on expenses for election. So in other jurisdictions, there's a ceiling. One person can say, I've given 1 million cedis to a political party, or 10 million. At the moment in Ghana, it's free for all. Yeah, nobody even knows. We don't even know who is contributing what. So as part of the reforms, there should be transparency. There should be transparency. Criminal cabals, the ones supporting and financing the political parties, who are the people? That's why the reforms are here. If we have the law, then the law will compel them to what? Disclose. So these are the issues, and I think we will take these 3 issues together with the 3 we have already discussed on the state-owned enterprises. Then we can take your views on them. So we can keep these 3 on the screen, and then I will go through the state-owned enterprises. The first one was MPs should not be allowed to sit on the board of the state-owned enterprises. 2, board and direct appointments should be based on merit and competency, not party affiliations. And then the third one is that members of the ruling party should get the first pick of board appointments. Already the current appointment, people have their own opinions on some of the personnel that have been appointed. So we want to hear your views on these 2 issues as well. So we can have the mic go around. We have
the cost of elections. The last 2 elections, the right to vote. If you look at representation of the people, there are 3 institutions there. The voter, electoral commission, political parties. And the voter has a natural and inalienable right to be registered conveniently as a voter to vote. Electoral Commission chose that he would never register the voters at where they are located, but everybody should come to the district center. It increased the cost of political parties to mobilize people to the district center. It increased the cost of people to go in there. So, and they would not listen to any counsel and advice. So that was our experience. So if we have an electoral commission that is behaving that way, I mean, without listening to the people, your independence is not as if everybody is a slave to the to the electoral commission. So from that experience, they were one of the institutions that contributed to the cost of elections. Now, if you take Article 55 and 56 of the Constitution, that is where you will see what political parties are supposed to do. Just sell your ideas to us, we buy into it, and we vote for you. That's all. So why are you not selling your ideas and you want rather to buy us? So if political parties go back to what they think is their agenda, their manifesto, try one thing. I tried it one time when I was in office. Go to DC East, go to party executives, both political parties, and just tell them now what's the manifesto of your party. Just ask them now, what is the manifesto of your party? They cannot tell you. Just tell a DCE now. What is the meaning of decentralization in local governance? They cannot tell you. So we have not holding them to what the whole thing is. So the cost of political parties, because we have allowed those people to redirect us wrongly away from the main path. Or else it is not an expensive venture. That's number one. As for the state-owned enterprises, there are institutions, we call them of rental corruption. You understand? There are institutions of rental corruption for a debt. So if you look at it, we have to reorient it. Why have you been set up, and why do you get in debt? What is the source of the debt? Unnecessary expenditure. So, and the board of directors are not held responsible. You have set up an enterprise, given it to you to run, and you run it down, and you knock your chest that I am a chairman of the board of directors. I'm a member of the board of directors. And the whole country is not holding them accountable. They are the first people oral must target. Any person who has ever served on a board of directors in a company that is running down, don't look at any other politician. They should be the first. So the concept of SO is, how can Cocoa Board get indebted? How can Ghana Gas get indebted? Why can those people just collect and sell, and you are getting indebted? And you explain, you want us to understand. And then the lawyers and the courts, everybody is trying to help them. So that's why I call them that they are institutions of rental corruption. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very short and snappy.
Hello. Your screen is off, meaning we are done.
Can we?
Okay, then there is no need for me to come out with any comment. I believe that with the MPs on boards, we have to take them off. We are overburdening them, seriously. Even with the committee work in Parliament, it's not an easy thing. And Parliament business as well. Then you take this person and make the person a member or a head of a board of another institution. If we continue like this, then it means that people will continue to fight to become MPs. Because you can only eat when you are an MP. Remember? Because we all want to become MPs. So we must look at that thing very well. There was one particular thing I wanted to comment and you deleted.
Which one? On the cost of election?
Yes.
Whether
but the cost of election, my boss
the cost
has
of
already
politics,
talked about it.
Whether the election campaign period should be 3 or 6 months, whether the EC should support political parties, all campaign contributions to parties and candidates should be publicly disclosed.
The way politicians do their things, there is no law banning politicians or enforcing politicians to start campaigning at earlier dates. They start their own campaigning. Nobody is forcing any politician that a year to election start campaigning. When people are busily doing their own activities. So we must take time. There's no need for law. How can Electoral Commission come in at this point? How? What should they do? They should come out with a law. We have to set up another law that 3 months to elections, parties can now go into campaigning. No. This is what we want to do. Your messages in. How are we going to get our messages to the people? So you must look at your resources and plan your campaigning to meet the people and get results. There's no need for Ghana to go and sit and make laws again. Our laws are so much and we are not implementing them. When it comes to party financing, the way there is a law that political parties are supposed to render accounts. Are they doing it? Because they don't want us to know what is going on when they are mobilizing their resources for elections. It will not work and nobody will enforce it. We've said that even district level elections are not partisan. And you and I know that they are partisan. And nobody is saying anything about it. And it's still running.
So last one. I need for why you dear brood, dear views in the air, you know, or more ball, man in the air, you know, or more ball, minor canoe. Yeah, Heggy Hawk. A Gukoyoto, Papa to Honor, Busumiano, Jessica, Edgy Alawaka, Siakao. Oh, Okoto, just say, all the. No, it's Ramo, Okwabru, and I'm a we say cut and paste. Yen found 2 body, Emma Bosman, who may say Tiago. For yet, my pen for so more mine and I for so now began yet to be the amount. But what you won't walk an African as I'm most, I guess here. It's Miss Ramo, Mama Yen, are dreaming, Mama Yen, Susia would rope you. Then we can show my name, Midas.
Yeah, political finance and the politics and the disika. How do you expect presidential candidate to go around the country? Ewa abra was pendiska. O yusu petro, o yusu ayi. Enti ano dia untimi nyimfrim. Na anu ya America election. I am a strong Democrat member. Na so share every day. Sika you mobilizing from the grassroots to finance political or America. Enye sika ketwa. Eromas alone. Sika o donate ye edema Trump. For the campaign. So for election and sikane die untimi nyimfrim. No matter what, sikane die bewom. But how do we finance it? And only question now agree totally. Say individuals say omobe finance omo political party as omo ye no America near that things now 100% support. Say nipa de 1 billion ebeko, what the one ebeko, on fan kono supporting the political party. No omo ye no omo campaign. No more, no more. But what we need to do as a country is to make sure, say, the systems and then laws, is in place. Nipa no we need political power. We are the one your mind and your political party, no, and what's some the ebeka.
They said the Oko America near in. Yeah, to America, it's America. It's not about Democrat, it's not about Republicans. And no say a quiet before so be. Pen the wumpo, Sikane de ebeba. Then state institutions, I was say MPs also announced yenyi MPs in Friso. MPs, they are Ghanaians. It is will be MP. No one in dear near the Nicoto tour. As soon as we bet me about Amato, I didn't know say Fanontoso. Because we MP in Indiana. No, it is a Nipana ya dene corner, so when you deal with baby a walk or abwa, ama the SA and a year, so a MP, so a day you, Nasa Quenyan or nothing in the or no bear there. Onye or ya, a babwa, ama state institutions, no, I Juma.
Okay. If I show,
very last
before and person be a question back home. I said earlier, no, there was the suggestion say, obey MP, MP, obey minister. Now we MP now what's a board or so. Time ben now obey nya. Edi board no company no direction. And I say, obey nya time so edi legislative work.
What a quadrant company no. And your time wa board emiti. Enti say MP our parliament time or so. Na say ABR 3 months time, 4 months time, any year board meeting. He has 1 day to go to board meeting. Enti no bibi anywhere in the coin. It doesn't matter. Board on the yenshia de bia and find your board. You must see you or day-to-day administration of the company. Board on the they have a time at that they meet. Enti there is nothing wrong. Say or your board member obit me.
Very last person.
I'm speaking. I'm coming from Sunyani Municipal Assembly. Who is when we give or when a government appoints, if you are not able to account to the people very well, that is where normally I bring in a problem. Because I bring in a problem. Because Timamuforo Monyere, so being sa, yes, setting some particular target to that person. And by the close of the administration, you know, it should be able to account to the people. And it's very key. And we have amatimamufono omuntimi aggressive. Say obaye osu ubeyewe wantimi anye na ede abufu eba. By etimi set target mani pano. Say so ye ni say oye say. Na wantimi anya no asaba back abechire timamufono. Say na mai we na mantimi anye. Medama say.
Thank you. So
All right, thank you very much. And I think that brings us to the very end of our town hall meeting. And I appreciate your time and your effort. Indeed, as our former president said, we should be citizens and not spectators. And I think you have demonstrated that indeed you want to be citizens, you want your voice to be heard, you want your issues to be addressed, and you want to participate in the governance architecture of this country. So on that, I'm very happy and I'm very excited to express your views. The town hall meetings will continue, and I think from here we'll be moving to Techiman on Thursday to also meet with the people of Techiman. And I'm sure at the end you will all hear of us. And I guess ordinance is improved. So thank you very much. And I think I will call on Vera to come and wrap up as well. So Vera, let us hear your voice even as we wrap up. Let me also extend a special thanks to Nanano and our Queen Mothers here as well.
We are very much grateful. And our contribution is so rich. You know, sometimes what the wealthy are doing, CDD-Ghana research, baby. Now, I am follow your social media handles, so conversations, ya have you, you be projected.